All right, let's talk about crypto. You've probably heard the term thrown around a ton, right? Well, today we're going to cut through all the noise. We're going to break down exactly what it is, why it even exists, and how you can get started. Simple as that. But before we get into the weeds, I want you to think about something, just for a second. What if the money in your pocket or in your bank account, what if it was truly yours? I mean, completely under your control, no questions asked. See, that's the big idea, the core promise of cryptocurrency. We're talking about a system where your money isn't controlled by a bank and it isn't just printed out of thin air by a government. Now, I know that sounds kind of wild, but it's actually trying to solve a really, really old problem. So let's get into why this matters. Okay, so first things first. To really get why crypto even exists, you have to understand a kind of scary truth about the money we use every day. Here it is. Its value is constantly shrinking. And when I say shrinking, I mean it. Get this. If you had $100 back in the early 1900s and just held on to it, by 2020, its buying power would have plummeted to just $3. 3. That's a 97% loss. So what in the world is going on here? Well, it's this thing called currency debasement. It's a fancy term that the idea is super simple. When governments print more and more money, the cash you already have becomes less valuable. The pizza analogy is perfect here. If you have a pizza and you keep cutting it into more and more slices, each slice just gets smaller, right? That's what's happening to your money, and over time, it just eats away at your savings. So this is where crypto, specifically something like Bitcoin, offers a totally different approach. Look at this comparison. With traditional money, the supply is basically infinite. They can always print more. But with Bitcoin, there's a hard cap. Only 21 million will ever exist. Period. Plus, it's decentralized, no single government or bank is in charge, and everything is transparent on a public ledger. It's a completely different rulebook. Okay, so it's really important to know that crypto isn't just one thing. It's a huge, diverse world. But for a beginner, you can pretty much break it all down into 3 main buckets, and each one has a totally different job. First up, you've got your store of value crypto. Bitcoin is the king here. Think of it as digital gold. Its whole purpose is to be a safe place to park your wealth, to protect it from that whole money shrinking problem we just talked about. Its value comes from the fact that it's provably rare and super secure. Next is DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. Now this is where things get really wild. Think about money that you can program. Yeah, like code. Cryptos like Ethereum or Solana are basically the building blocks, like money Legos, for an entirely new financial system. We're talking lending, borrowing, trading, all of it, but without any banks in the middle. It just runs on code. And last but not least, we have stablecoins. Now these are different. You don't buy these hoping the price will go to the moon. Their job is just to be, well, stable. They're pegged one-to-one with a currency like the US dollar. So think of them as just a digital dollar that you can move around easily within the crypto world. They're the grease that keeps the wheels turning. Okay, now that you've got the lay of the land, let's talk about maybe the most important part of all, how to do your own research. This is absolutely critical in crypto, but don't worry, it's way less intimidating than it sounds. Really, you only need to get a handle on 3 basic terms to start. First is market cap. That's just the total price of all the coins added together. Think of it like a company's total value. Then you have circulating supply, which is just how many coins are actually out there in the wild right now. And finally, total supply. This one's key. It tells you the maximum number of coins that will ever exist. Is it fixed like Bitcoin, or can they just keep making more forever? And you know what the best part is? You don't have to go digging for this stuff. There are websites like CoinMarketCap that are basically the encyclopedia for crypto. Literally everything we just talked about and more is right there for every single project. It's your #1 spot to start your research. All right, so you get the concepts, you know where to do your homework. So what's next? Well, for a lot of people, it's taking that first step and actually buying some cryptocurrency. And look, these days, this process is super straightforward. It really just boils down to 3 simple steps. First, you pick an exchange. That's just a marketplace to buy and sell. A big one for beginners is Coinbase. Second, you link your bank account, just like you would with any other app. And third, you make your purchase. That's it. You're in. Now, once you own some crypto, we have to talk about something crucial, keeping it safe. Because this new world is all about self-ownership, which means security is now on you. This is a big deal. There's a mantra you'll hear over and over again in the crypto space, and it's so important. Not your keys, not your coins. All it means is that if you don't personally control the secret digital keys to your crypto, then you don't really own it. You're just trusting someone else to hold it for you. So this basically leaves you with two main choices for storing your crypto. The first is just leaving it on the exchange where you bought it. Think of this like your bank account. It's super convenient, but you're trusting the bank. The other option is a hardware wallet. This is like having your own personal offline vault. It's a little physical device that you control. It's way more secure, but it also means you're 100% responsible for it. So there you have it. We've gone from the why, this whole idea of shrinking money, to the what, the different types of crypto, all the way to the how of buying and securing it. You now officially have the building blocks, the foundational knowledge to start exploring this space for yourself. The only question left is, what will you do with it?